Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right, so if you play this having two colors, this is straight up a 7/7 and go get two more permanents. If you play with anything more than that, it's well, I have talked about some 10 out of 10s. Hey, I need an 11 out of 10 for this. And we're back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Roll School. My name is Nathaniel, one of the hosts here at the channel. I'm joined off screen by my lovely co-host, Ashley. Say hi to everyone.
Hi.
There she is. And we, of course, are Rollsicle, just a couple nerds sharing our hobbies with you guys. We have been working through the limited set review for Llorwyn Eclipsed, and this is the last section, the green card. So we're very excited for this. I do apologize if my voice sounds a little gone. I am coaching soccer at the middle school I teach at, and yelling has my voice a little tired, especially the combination of having to yell at my classes and my boys. So, hoorah, hydrate. All right. Before we jump into things, I want to quickly say thank you guys for all the love and support. I was actually playing a Rollsicle video in the background today while I was getting my planning done for part of planning, and the video's from 2 months ago, and Ashley is talking about how we just hit 295. And if you guys check our subscribers, we are currently at 385. So thank you guys for all the love and support. We genuinely would not be here doing this like we are without you. And without further ado, let's jump into things. All right. Assert Perfection. 1 and a green source free. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. I like these punch effects. This one happens to buff it, which is pretty nice. You know, it always sucks if you're just one under. It's not instant speed, so I probably would prefer this to not buff and be instant speed, more of like a bite down. I think that's an instant speed effect. But it's fine. 4 out of 10. Right into a mythic, Aurora Awakener. This is a 7 mana 7/7 trample. Vivid, when this creature enters, reveal the top of your library until you reveal X permanent cards, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. Put any number of those permanent cards onto the battlefield, then put... Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right, so if you play this having two colors, this is straight up a 7/7 and go get two more permanents. If you play with anything more than that, it's well, I have talked about some 10 out of 10s. Hey, I need an 11 out of 10 for this category. How do you beat this? 7 mana, 7/7 trampler. On average, you're getting 2 to 3 additional permanents for free. I don't think you can beat this in limited. I mean, this is insane. It's an enters trigger, so unless it gets countered, they're going to get that. Like, removing this is not the issue at that point. They just straight up got so much value for 7 mana. 11 out of 10. Play this card every time you pull it. All right, Bloom Tinder. We went from mythic into mythic, people. Here we go. Bloom Tinder. Elf Druid, 1/1, tap, Vivid. For each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. This is pretty solid, but typically when you want to play a mana dork is early on, and in this game, that's probably just going to be a 2 mana 1/1 that taps for 1. It might be a 2 mana 1/1 that taps for 2. It's not as broken as it sounds. It is still good, so because of that, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10, but this is not game-changing level of mythic in limited as it might be in like constructed, that sort of thing. Blossoming Defense. 1 green, instant, target creature control gains +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. I mean, I'm not against a Snakeskin Veil that adds an additional 1 but doesn't put a counter on it. I mean, this is just, you know, that 1 green mana hexproof ability that we see. Typically powerful, but not crazy broken. I do like that it's a combat trick in the sense that it does give +2/+2, so that's a little bit more tricky. Like, Snakeskin Veil is really not changing a whole lot of the game with only +1/+1. This is a little more likely to maybe come out of the gate swinging, and then the hexproof is nice, but I don't think it's broken. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Bristlebane Battler. This is a 1 and a green rare 6/6. Trample Ward 2, but it enters with 5 -1/-1. So it enters as a 1/1. Whenever another creature you control enters, remove a +1/-1/-1 counter from this creature. That's pretty good. Pretty quickly, I think this will end up being a 2 mana trample ward 2 bigger than a 2/2. So I really like this. I think this card has a lot of upside. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Bristlebane Outrider. This one might be bordering on a 7. All right, Bristlebane Outrider. 3 and a green. Kithkin Knight, 3/5, so fine. This creature can't be blocked by a creature with power 2 or less. That's nice. As long as another creature entered the battlefield under your control, this creature is a +2/+0, so it is a 5/5. All of that's solid, but nothing crazy on an average, I would say. Stat line for a creature, 4 out of 10. This is like definition 4 out of 10. Another mythic! We've already seen 3. Celestial Reunion. X and a green sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may choose a creature type and behold 2 creatures of that type. Search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. If this spell's additional cost was paid and the revealed card is the chosen type, put that card onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your hand. I mean, honestly, printing a green tutor is interesting. We only have so many of those, and this one is pretty much only a green tutor in typal decks. Like you're not gonna go get Craterhoof Behemoth unless you happen to have, I think it's Beast or Leviathan or something like that in your hand to reveal and be able to actually put onto the battlefield. So this is solid. I mean, like, you can go get your best card if you have another solid card, but I don't think this is game-changing and limited. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Maybe a 5, because you can go get your best card. But you have to spend... 4 out of 10, because you have to spend basically double the mana of the card. It's not worth it. Champions of the Perfect... So maybe it's less. Champions of the Perfect, 3 and a green, Elf Warrior, 6... 6 as an additional cost of spell, behold an elf and exile it. Okay, so this is the 4 mana 6/6 that's going to make you get rid of something. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. When this creature leaves the 4 mana 6/6. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. This is an 8 out of 10, easily 8 out of 10. You're gonna replace the elf that you got rid of with this the instant you play a creature, and then you're just benefiting from it. And the stat line is insane for a 4-drop. 8 out of 10, easy. Chomping Changeling. He's just eating a sword. That's cute. All right, 2 and a green, 1/2, Changeling. When this creature enters, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. It's honestly not a bad idea to run something like this, just because we don't see a ton of artifact or enchantment removal in the set, although I haven't seen insane stuff except a few artifacts or enchantments. That being said, the stat line on this is really low, so I just don't know if I want to be running this. I mean, this is basically, Reclamation Sage, but better. I'm not against running Reclamation Sage, and this obviously covers your elf as in every other creature type because it's Changeling. So, yeah, it's probably enough to make 4, but my gut says 3 out of 10. Crossroads Watcher. 2 and a green, Kithkin Ranger, 3/3 for 3, trample. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Perfectly fine. Nothing crazy. Nothing that excites me that much. You can get turns where like 3 Kithkin enter, so I mean that's something, but it's fine. Between a 3 and a 4. 2 and a green flash 4/2 with Reach, Elf Archer at common is also fine. I don't like this one as much. I don't tend to like the high power, low toughness as much. You're typically just using this to trade, in which case, you can think of it basically as like a 3 mana removal spell. Fine, but nothing crazy. I'm going to give this one a 3. I don't love this card, but maybe I should give it a 4. Dundulin Weaver. 1 and a green, Kithkin Druid, 2/1. When it enters, if you control 3 or more creatures, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. That is very powerful for 2 mana, but you do have to have 3 or more creatures, so that's pretty difficult to have happen. And I will say the upside does make the downside worth it, but the downside is still heavy here, so I'm going to give it an average of a 4. Formidable Speaker. I have seen this one. I have not read it, but I have seen that it's like $20, so I know this is about to be good, right? 3 mana, 2 and a green, Elf Druid, 2/4, fine stat line, nothing crazy. When this creature enters, you may discard a card. If you do, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand. Okay, great. So we just got another green tutor. You'd have to discard for it, but sure. And then you can pay 1 and a green to 1 and tap this to untap another target permanent. So this is so expensive because it's a tutor on a stick, right? Enters, discard a card, and just search for any creature card. Put it into your hand. You do have to reveal it, But this is relatively cheap, so you might even be able to do this on the turn that you're planning to play that card. You know, let's say you have 8 mana, you do this, go get a 5-drop, play the 5-drop. I see why this is crazy. This is also solid and limited because it's on a good body. Like, this is not a sorcery you're casting. It's not an enchantment you're casting. Like, it's on a already respectable body. So because of that, I'm going to bump it up to a 7 out of 10. Arguably even better if you have, like, another 10 out of 10 bomb creature to go get. Like, if you have this and the 7/7, how are you not going 7-0 in that draft, right? Like, come on. That's from an arena perspective. How are you not going 3 out or 2 out every game for all 4 matches or whatever it is if it's a draft or pre-release? Like, that is the dream combo right there. All right, Gilt Leaf's Embrace. 2 and a green, enchantment aura, flash. When it enters, enchanted creature gains trample and indestructible until end of turn. Enchanted creature gets +2/+0. So indestructible on flash. Indestructible on flash is pretty good. I probably would have preferred hexproof, but I don't know. Both are nice. Let's see. It also gains trample, which can be pretty good. And enchanted creature gets +2/+0, so it's not worth nothing. Now, the indestructible and trample is only until end of turn, and this is pretty pricey. So because of that, because of the 3 mana cost, my brain wants to say 3 out of 10. All right, Great Forest Druid, 1 and a green, 0/4, tap to add 1 mana of any color. Typically ramping, especially if you have bigger drop creatures, is pretty good. This is on a fine body. It's really only blocking anyways. That being said, if you do tap it, it's not going to be blocking, so that kind of defeats its purpose a little bit. This is fine, but it's not crazy. I will say 4. Man, I'm always yawning in these, man. Always. You okay, baby?
Yeah.
I just saw you looking at me.
Yeah. I love you. I haven't seen you in like 12 hours.
I love you too. Luminolisk. Elemental. 2/4 with Death Touch, 4 mana. When this creature enters, you gain life equal to the number of colors among permanents you control. The gain life is never worth it, and 4 mana, 2/4 Death Touch is not worth it, especially at uncommon 3 out of 10, bordering on 2. This feels like, I mean, it's very playable compared to what I typically give a 2, so I am giving it a 3, but this is a bad card. I don't think the Death Touch is carrying it. All right, Lys Alana Dignitary. I hope I said all that right. 1 and a green, Elf Advisor, 2/3. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you either behold an elf, not bad, or pay 2, which makes it a little costly. But the 2/3 is nice if you're only paying 2 for it. You can tap to add 2 green, activate only if there is an elf card in your graveyard. But the good news is green-black elf can pull off graveyard synergies pretty well. Good body on this, solid card, 5 out of 10. Lys Alana Informant, 1 and a green. I like the, I don't know what type of style painting this is, but the relatively thick strokes, it's almost looks like if it was digital, if it's like in a low rendering. I like that a lot. This is really nice art. 1/2/3/1. When this creature enters or dies, surveil 1. You are probably going to get 2 triggers out of that, and it can trade above its weight, which isn't bad. It's good enough that I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, but it definitely doesn't creep higher. Midnight Tilling, 1 and a green instant, mill 4 cards. Then you may return a permanent card from among them to your hand. This is pretty much just, what's that one card? I think it's an uncommon, but that was printed in Bloomborough that lets you just like dig for trash or something like that. I forget the name of it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. And you get like a food if you return, I think, a land. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's pretty much just that. This is fine, but I don't think it's crazy. I like to think of this as 2 mana draw a card, but you have a larger pool of what you draw the card from, right? So you're probably going to hit a permanent. It's just, do you want your best permanent? You really only want this in a card where the other permanents can benefit from being in your graveyard. But it's fine. 4 out of 10. It doesn't scream crazy to me, but... All right, Mist Meadow Council. 4 and a green, 4/3. It costs 1 less to cast if you control a Kithkin. So typically you want to play this for 3 and a green. So 4 mana, 4/3. But when it enters, draw a card. That's great. If you pull this off at 4 mana, 4/3, when it enters, draw a card, that's great. That's solid. I'd say 4 out of 10. Bordering on 5 because drawing a card is awesome. I mean, just a 4/3 that replaces itself, not going to complain about that. But the 5 mana downside of this is going to definitely bump it down to a 4. I don't think that's enough for me to say it's a 3 because the draw card is really nice. All right, Moon Vigil Adherence, 2 and 2 green, 0/0 trample. When this creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and each creature card in your graveyard. Of course, this is an elf, so there you go. It's already in the kind of green-black Golgari graveyard synergy. I would not play this, I don't think. I mean, you're going to have 4 creatures for this to be a 4-mana 4/4. Now, it does count creature cards in your graveyard, so I do think that's a little bit more likely, but at the end of the day, this could be like this could be a 4-mana 3/3 or 4-mana 2/2, which would be really bad. I don't know how you would end up in that situation, but it is possible. So I'm hesitant to play this card. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. We're going to have to see how well this deck actually gets creatures out and gets creatures in the graveyard. That being said, it's really easy to make a lot of elves typically, so it could bump up if it's really consistent. Morkant's Eyes. 1 and a green, Kindred Enchantment Elf. At the beginning of your upkeep, you surveil 1. So 2 mana to surveil on your next upkeep. You can later pay 4 and a 2 green, sacrifice it, create X 2/2 black and green elf creature tokens, or X the number of elf cards in your graveyard. I would not play this. Again, this is extremely slow. It does almost nothing. You can surveil and then put elf cards in your graveyard to then later crack it for 6. But that is slow. That is really slow. So I'm also going to give that a 3 out of 10. All right, Mutable Explorer. We have seen this one. The one that makes the Mutavault tokens. Yep, I've seen this version of it, but yep. Okay, 2 and a green, 1/1 Changeling. When this creature enters, create a tapped Mutavault token, which of course is a land with tap to add a colorless, and pay 1. This token becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature typed until end of turn. It is still a land. Obviously, this is 3 mana, 1/1. It ramps you, but the ramp that it ramps you is even better because it is a land that you can, if need be, turn into a creature with all the creature types to benefit from all the creature type stuff, etc. So I think this is a solid card. I don't think it's crazy, right? 1/1 ramping you, and then maybe you use that as a creature if you need to, is fine. I'm going to say 5 out of 10. Pitiless Fists. 3 and a green, enchantment aura, enchant creature you control. When this aura enters, enchanted creature fights up to 1 target creature you control, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2. So this is a 4 mana +2/+2 and then a fight. A little more expensive than I want to see typically from this. That does, the +2/+2 does stick around if it fights something that lives, but notably this is not deals damage equal to its power, it is fight, so it's possible your thing will die. I don't love effects like this, but I think this is probably strong enough. You know, perma buff and fight for 4 mana, fine. I'll give it a 4. Prisma Basher. 4 and 2 green, 6/6, 4/6 with trample. Vivid. When this creature enters, up to X target creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of... this is fine. 6 mana, 6/6 trample is already solid enough, and then you add on top of that the fact that when it enters, you can kind of buff your team for a turn, probably giving 2 things +2/+2, but you might give 3 things +3/+3, is pretty solid, I will say. This one checks in my book as a... I'm honestly going to say 5 out of 10. I think that's pretty strong. Prismatic Undercurrents. 4 mana enchantment, 3 and a green, with Vivid. When this enchantment enters, search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. So at 4 mana, it probably enters and gets you 2. Reveal those cards, put them into your hand, then shuffle. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Big feature there at 4 mana to let you play an additional land on each of your turns. However, this is 4 mana, maybe ramp well when it enters. That's just too slow for me. I'm going to say a 3 out of 10. It does stuff, but I don't think it does enough, and I don't think it does it fast enough. Pummeler for Hire. What a name. 4 and a green, giant mercenary. 4/4, so 4/4 for 5, with vigilance, reach, and ward 2. When this creature enters, you gain X life, where X is the greatest power among giants you control. Not creatures, giants. I almost said creatures. Okay, so it enters and gets you 4 life. Vigilance, reach, ward 2, 4/4. All of that together, I think, all of it squeezes it out into a 4. I would have given this a 3, honestly, if it didn't have all of that going for it, but I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Safe Right Cavalry, 3 and a green, elf warrior, so 4 mana, 4/4. This creature can't be blocked by more than one creature. Great. And target elf you control gets +2/+2 as a mana sink if you need it in the late game. Definition of a 4 out of 10. Sapling Nursery, okay, 6 and 2 green, but it has affinity for forests. So if you end up in like a mono green deck, this is awesome. Whenever a land you control enters, create a 3/4 green treefolk creature token with reach. That is huge. To get a 3/4 as your landfall trigger is awesome. Then you can pay 1 and a green, exile this enchantment. Treefolk and forest you control gain indestructible till end of turn. Not bad if someone's destroying it anyways, or something else. This is an adorable art. Absolutely adorable art. I'm going to have to show Ashley after the video. But yeah, this is really solid. I mean, it's expensive, so you definitely do not want to play this on a turn after you've played your land. It's not worth it. Wait until a future turn where you can get a benefit out of it, unless you just have straight up nothing else to do from your hand. But if you can play this, play a forest, get a 3/4 out of it, and hopefully get the upside of getting more treefolk out of it. It's a really solid card. I'm going to say 7 out of 10. Selfless Safe Right. It might even be an 8 if you start getting a lot of those triggers. Selfless Safe Right. 3 and 2 green, 4/2 flash, but it has Convoke, so it might be a little cheaper. When this creature enters, choose a creature type. Other permanents you control of that type gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. It's really nice. I said earlier that I like the combination of the two, and this is the combination of the two. Hopefully, you can use those creatures to help save those creatures, so then, you don't have to hold up 5 mana. You can hold up 5 mana counting the tappable creatures, and then flash this in, really catch things off guard. That is pretty cool. I want to see this art. Oh, okay. All the arts are been like anime-ified, but it's fine. They're doing the like confetti foily treatment type stuff that they did in Foundations. Shimmer Wild Growth. 1 and a green enchantment aura, enchant land. As this aura enters, choose a color. Enchanted land is the chosen color. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of the chosen color. This could help you play some of the Vivid decks if you are being, honestly, kind of stupid unless you have the perfect cards to go for Vivid and go for 5 colors. However, this does just ramp you, 2 mana ramp you. You obviously have to have lands to play this. I think it's fine. I don't think it's crazy. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Spry and Mighty, that's a cute name. 4 and a green sorcery. Choose 2 creatures you control. You draw X cards, and the chosen creatures get +X/+X and gain trample until end of turn, where X is the difference between the chosen creature's powers. That's really cute. Okay, so if you have like a defender and you have like a 4/4, this can be 5 mana, draw 4. They both get +4/+4 and gain trample. So you have to set up for this card, but this is extremely powerful if you pull off the setup. So you want to have something small and something big if you're playing this card. So it is definitely situational, but I think it's very strong. I like draw cards. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 if you can pull it off. But you got to be careful in terms of being able to pull it off. Surly Farrier, 1 and a green Kithkin Citizen, 2/2, so 2 mana, 2/2. Tap it, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains vigilance until end of turn. Perfectly fine, especially if you have a big creature. You just go, great, I'll tap this, send in the big creature, still have the big creature back to block. This can be very useful, and it fits the baseline of 2 mana, 2/2, 4 out of 10. Tend the Sprigs. This is also adorable art, so I've got 2 I need to show Ashley. 2 and a green, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Then if you control 7 or more lands and or treefolk, you create a 3/4 green treefolk. I like that this card has a benefit to playing it in the late game, and if you ramp it in the early game, great, you paid 3 mana to get a tapped land. That's a little below curve for the chance that in the late game when this pulls up and you're like, oh man, it's my ramp, I already have 7 mana, you actually get a benefit out of it. That being said, that's only going to happen when you have 7 lands unless you're running treefolk. So I am still going to say 3 out of 10 just because the ramp is really slow. But I like that they were trying there. Thought Weft Charge. 1 and a green. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. So obviously you want to play this on a turn where a creature entered. So you kind of have to work with that. But if you can, this is extremely powerful because if a combat trick replaces itself, then the +3/+3 was effectively free. I mean, obviously it cost the mana, but I like this card a lot. I'm actually going to give this a 5 out of 10. I think this is a really solid card. Moving on. Tristan Callous Cultivator, 2 and a green. Legendary creature, Elf Druid, 3/4, so 3 mana, 3/4. This is our flip card. Whenever this creature enters or transforms, mill 3 cards. Then, if there is an elf card in your graveyard, you gain 2 life. Solid, right? You're going to get that trigger basically twice. At the beginning of your first main phase, you may pay a black. If you do, transform Tristan. Oh, no, you only get it when it enters because you only get it when you transform back. I'm only just now realizing it. When you transform the first time, you're going to get this one because it says whenever it transforms into Tristan Penitent Color. This one has Death Touch. Did the other one have Death Touch? Yeah. Okay. Mill 3 cards. Then you may exile an elf card from your graveyard. If you do, each opponent loses 2 life. Honestly, in the elf deck, unless you're desperate to get the opponent losing 2 life, or you have a ton of elves in your graveyard, I would probably just not even choose to do that. Flip this for 1 mana and mill 3 every turn. It's basically an enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep or at the beginning of your first main phase, mill 3. Yeah. I like this card, though. 3 mana, 3/4, Death Touch is already a solid body, and then you can spend some mana in there to basically get some mills going, and you might even get some life gain, which is solid. A 6 out of 10 in the elf deck. You really want them in the graveyard, so 7 out of 10 for that. Unforgiving Aim, 2 and a green, instant, choose 1, destroy target creature with flying. We always see that. Destroy target enchantment, fine. Create a 2/2 black and green elf creature token. If you're in that deck, this is a good backup option. But I don't love these cards. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 10. Obviously, this is really good to sideboard in if you're playing a game where you can sideboard, like a pre-release or something like that, but it's not great to main deck, typically, I have seen. Although I do like that it can make a creature. Vinebred Brawler, 2 and a green, Elf Berserker, 4/2 for 3 is fine. This creature must be blocked to Fable, also pretty solid. Whenever this creature attacks another target elf you control, gets +2/+1. Not bad. I don't mind this. I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 10. I don't think it breaks into 5 category, but I like how much they gave it. Virulent Emissary, 1 green, 1/1 Death Touch. I'm telling y'all, the 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch really does more than you think. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain a life. It's just a little on top of that. I want to give 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch a 5 out of 10. I probably shouldn't, even with the extra life gain, but I'm personally going to give it a 5 out of 10. I'm telling you guys, 1 mana, 1/1 Death Touch does so much more than you think. It stalls out the game, especially if you're a late game deck. And then last but not least, Wild Vine Pummeler. 6 and a green, 6/5, but it costs 1 less to cast for each color among permanents you control. Now, notably cast. So if this is your first green card, you're not going to have green in that. So keep that in mind. I guess that probably works for almost every Vivid thing, but not if it's an enters trigger, I don't think. But anyways, so if you have 1 or 2 other colors on the board, this thing is effectively a 6 mana 6/5 or a 5 mana 6/5. I mean, it's got reach and trample. I'd say 5 mana is good. 6 mana is fine and on par. If you have to pay 7, it's bad. And if you get it for cheaper, then it's obviously really solid. The combination of all of those, I believe, makes this card average, 4 out of 10. And that, since you guys are seeing this after the multicolored and everything, it should be all of the cards in Llorwyn Eclipsed. We were super, super hyped to get to see all of these, and now that I have seen all of them, I'm just super stoked for pre-release. At time of recording, pre-release is 2 days away, so we are getting closer and closer. I'm very, very excited to play. We'll have to make some videos and let you guys know how it went. Please let us know down in the comments below what you think of these cards, what you're hoping to build for pre-release, what you think of the set, and anything else you want us to know. We love and appreciate each and every one of you, and I mentioned it at the beginning, but I will mention it again. If you want to like, comment, and especially subscribe, it really does help the channel out. It always makes our day when we see that number go up. And you guys are just the best of the best. We look forward to seeing you in whatever comes next, and we hope that you do too. But until then, may those rolls be ever in your favor, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye, y'all.